I'm on my Haley Joel Osment shit. Except I don't see dead people, I hear them. There are so many different types of psychic abilities, and a lot of us, myself included, for the longest time, believe that these psychic abilities are reserved for like a special group of people. And if you're born with them, you have them, and if you're not born with them, you don't have them. But a lot of us are born with them, and they're just not turned on within us until we tap into them. If you want me to go deeper into what all of the psychic abilities are, drop a comment below. I'm happy to make a video that like kind of rounds up like clairvoyance, clairsentient, claircognizance. Like there's all these different psychic abilities. Today I'm going to talk about a psychic ability that I developed about 4 years ago, and that has been getting stronger and stronger as I've been developing it. I really want to also stress that we all have these abilities. We are all born with these abilities. Most of us just never tap into them because most of us never tap into ourselves deep enough in order to turn them on. And everything that I share here on my channel is with the intention of helping people to tap in deeper to themselves, to understand themselves, to know themselves, to see themselves deeper. We have this perception in our head about what a psychic person looks like or what a person who talks to dead people looks like. But at the end of the day, like my main goal is just to normalize some of this stuff so that the average person doesn't feel weird about touching into spirituality and touching into themselves deeper. As I've touched into myself deeper, as I've cleaned up my lifestyle, I have started to turn these gifts on more and more and more, and they've gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. If you're interested in any of this, please click subscribe. Please drop a comment. Any questions that you have, please put them below. If I don't know what the question that you have is, I can't answer it. I'm happy to answer any of these questions that you might have. But for today, I want to tell the story of the first time I heard a dead person and what that was like for me, because it was a very crazy experience for me. We're going to transport back in time 4 years. So now it is the summer of COVID. And a friend of mine who was from New York, but who I met when we were both living in Miami, happened to be spending the summer of COVID up here in New York. So she came over, and don't come for me. We were social distancing. We were sitting in my backyard. Relax. We're hanging out. We're sitting in my backyard, and she started talking to me about her boyfriend who had passed away. And she was like, it was a very deep story. We were in a very deep conversation, and within a few moments of her talking about him, it felt like he was sitting on my shoulder. I was very aware that he was there. I don't know how I knew it was him, but I knew that it was him, and it felt like he was sitting on my shoulder. And as a side note, every time I've ever heard someone who has passed on come to pass a message to me, to pass a message along, or like when some of my grandparents come to talk to me, they're always on my left side. And I don't know what that's about. There's probably some science behind it, but they're always like in my left ear. The message is always coming in through this side. The messages were coming in through this side, and I folded like a cheap fucking suit. Like I was not a good messenger at all. I was just so like, I don't want to say I was scared. I didn't feel scared because I wasn't unsafe, but I was scared of like what her perception of me would be if I told her, hey, your dead boyfriend's talking to me right now. like what am I gonna say? Like, and he's going a million miles a minute. This man had so much to say to her, and he's trying to tell me to tell her these things, and I'm just like, bro, what? And I froze. I started crying a little bit, not a lot, but it just like evoked emotion out of me. And I've talked about that before. A lot of times when I'm just feeling a lot, no matter what emotion it is, I could be happy, I could be sad, I could be joyous, I could be full of gratitude, I'm gonna cry. So I'm crying, but she was also in a deep story. So like she didn't know I was crying because dude was sitting on my shoulder telling me to tell her all this stuff. She thought I was crying just in response to her story. And I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything to her about him because I just didn't know how. And I didn't know, like, I was it this gift had just turned on, and like now I'm a person processing the fact that I just heard a dead person talking to me, and like I was very aware that he was there. So like I didn't do it. And then 2 nights later, that man showed up in my dreams and I could see him, and it was a dream. Like I was like fully cognizant of what was going on, fully aware of the fact that like this is him. We are now talking in my dream. He was wearing his motorcycle jacket, and he came, like the first thing he said to me was like, "I'm so sorry." And he had his hands up like he felt he he felt sorry, and he felt like he like impeded on me, and he was like, "I did not mean to scare you. I didn't know." And he's like, "Please, can you tell her to go to a medium? There are things that I need to say to her. There are things that she needs to hear. She needs closure, and I need to be able to give that to her. Can you ask her to go to a psychic medium so that they can translate the messages that I need to give to her? If you can just get her to go to the medium, I will talk to her through them." So I wake up and I'm like, "Where's my phone?" And I get my phone and I sent her a voice note, and I was just like, "Hey, the other day when you were here, he was here, and he's with you all the time, and he's protecting her, and he loves her so much, and he's one of her angels, and he's with her for life." And I was like, "There's some things that he wants to say to you, and he's asking me to ask you to go to a psychic medium so that he can translate those messages." And about a week later, she messaged me that she went to the psychic medium. They translated the messages, and now it's a story that she and I talk about. Like, "Oh, remember that time?" Um, and it brings emotion out of me now still, because I'm so in awe at how far I have come as a human, and in my human body, and in my journey, and in the gifts that I have turned on within myself, and we all have it. And at the end of the day, that's why I share here. I implore you to click subscribe, because I'm going to be teaching you how to turn some of these gifts on, and a lot of the things that I teach here isn't just about turning these specific gifts on, but about being more in touch with ourselves so that we're not clouding out these gifts. Like, so many of us have these abilities that we never tap into because we never tap into ourselves. So thank you for coming back to my channel. My name is Jackie. I am an intuitive business consultant. I'm an alignment coach. I can help you find your alignment so you can turn your gifts on. I do a lot of things, and I share all about them here on this channel. I make new videos every week, so don't forget to click subscribe, and I will see you next week.